Hi, this is Mike, and I'd like to talk to you today about this article that was in the Everett Herald today. Yeah, interesting, huh? I've written down some notes here, and I'm going to read them to you now. Excuse me if I keep looking up and down. I want to talk to you today about the Everett Herald endorsement of Rick Larsen. First off, I dispute the headline, Rick Larsen earns re-election. Why? Has he achieved anything of substance in this last term? There is nothing of fact in this article that shows he has. He would not even meet me in public before the primary. He knew better. I was well prepared to bring his shortcomings and lack of representation to light, but he ducked me at every turn. He would not have survived to move on to the general election if he had stood up and allowed me my right to debate him. That isn't sour grapes. That's a fact. Given the opportunity, I'll prove it to be so. When I or my supporters spoke to Democrats at their legislative district endorsement meetings, I had twice prevented Rick Larsen's endorsement. And in the San Juan Islands, I received the Democrats' endorsement 50-0, running as an independent. Granted, Rick Larsen was not there, although he was invited. But again, he refused to face me head to head. And it's not like he was off somewhere doing something, crucial. While I was in the San Juans for 2 days, he was in Langley. Yet in this article, those facts are not mentioned, only lies as to Mr. Larsen's achievements. The Herald calls Larsen a strong supporter of the Export-Import Bank, presenting him as a fighter for small business, securing financing for their exports through this bank. That's a bunch of hogwash. The majority of the bank money goes to large corporations like Boeing and oil drilling companies such as are in Texas. Boeing, in fact, is the largest beneficiary of the loans. Is it surprising that Boeing is a top contributor to his campaign this cycle? Not to me. Yes, the crumbs from the corporate welfare Boeing receives will provide some paltry jobs for the Boeing workers, but my complaint is that the Boeing company is given this huge loan without any strings attached. They should meet a standard of providing decent jobs, wages, and benefits to the workers before any more of our taxpayer dollars go to them at the expense of our already weakened tax base beyond the $8.7 billion we already gave them, again, without any strings attached. And then the Herald goes on to make note about how Larsen stood with Boeing to strip away the union's pension while siding with labor on the coal terminal construction in Ferndale. And they call this a conundrum. Are we supposed to sympathize with Rick Larsen? I don't think so. Especially considering that siding with the union guaranteed him votes, as construction jobs are desperately needed. But what's interesting is that the side that the construction unions are on happens to be the same side that the fossil fuel interests are on. And those interests have given Rick Larsen $205,000 since he took office. Finally, the Herald, unbelievable, the Herald praised Rick Larsen for his far-sighted leadership on the oil tankers and rail safety. Garbage. Rick Larsen has been dragged kicking and screaming every inch of the way with regard to rail safety, oil tankers and coal, and the threat to global climate change and explosions. Dean Smith met with him and came down and spoke with me after that meeting he had with Rick Larsen, where he told Larsen the dangers of these DOT 111 trains and said, we need to put a moratorium on these because they're deadly. An explosion outside here in Everett at the tunnel entrance would spew toxic fumes, kill people, have devastating effects on our community. We need to stop them until we can have safer tankers made and available to us. Rick Larsen, I'm not going to do that. That's what I'm not going to do that. Dismissive, totally. Doesn't want to talk about it. What he will do is fight for us, though, like he always says he does. He fights. He's there for us. I take their corporate money, but I'm fighting for you. Rick Larsen has not done anything to protect our community. He hasn't done anything to represent the people in our community, and he sure as hell does not deserve to be endorsed by anybody in the community. I call upon the Herald to back up everything that's in that article about Rick Larsen. I want to see why he was endorsed. I want to know what steps he's taken. Just saying that he's a fighter or he's on the right side of an issue isn't good enough. I want to concrete. I want to know what legislation has he pushed through, what concrete steps has he taken that we can see where the safety of these rails is being taken care of. There isn't any. You're not going to come up with anything. That's what's going to happen. So you tell me, Everett Herald, why is he endorsed? Why do you report what you want to report instead of reporting what is the truth? This is what's wrong in our democracy. Twice now I've run for Congress and I haven't gotten to go head to head with Rick Larsen. I am clearly the better candidate. I'm sure of that. The 50 people who heard me in the San Juan Islands who are Democrats and voted for me an independent seem to think I'm the better candidate. Our democracy is at risk. The two-party system has corrupted our system. The influence of money by corporations like Boeing, the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway, the coal companies, have taken our democracy away and placed it into the hands of the few, and that must stop. I'm going to run again. I'll leave it up to you what to mark on your ballot. I cannot officially run as a write-in candidate. And voting for me won't even be counted unless it makes a difference in the final outcome. But I want you to seriously consider who it is we're stuck with to vote for now. An incumbent who hasn't done anything, as far as I can tell. We need to re-engage. I can understand people not wanting to vote. We had the lowest voter turnout in Snohomish County ever. Snohomish County ever for this primary. That's shameful. I can understand it, but we can't afford to do it. When we don't vote, we allow people like Rick Larsen to be reelected again. He knew the voter turnout was going to be low. He knew he was safe by not meeting with me. Anything he said would have hurt him. I would have seen to that. Believe me. But when we don't vote, we give the forces that are trying to take our rights away the power to take our rights away. We have to start voting, but also voting for people who will represent our best interest. I know not everybody here agrees with me. I understand that. But I promise you this. I will do what I feel is best for all of us. I have no agenda of my own other than to make sure that our country is on the right path and that we pass legislation which benefits the majority of our people. Disagree with me all you want, but I ask you to join with me once I get elected to help make these decisions. One thing that will be clearly different between Rick Larsen and myself when I get elected is that I will be connected with all the people in the district. Those who voted for me, those who voted against me, to get their opinion, to listen to what they have to say. And if they make a case, they will change my mind. Because I'm not beholden to anyone but the people in the district. That's it. But that's another story. I just wanted to bring to light that what is in this article here is a bunch of garbage. And again, Everett Herald, prove what you've written down there. Let's see the facts. Is that so much to ask? Thank you. Everybody have a nice day. I'm going to go and get some sleep. Talk to you later.